Welcome to Once Upon a Castle, unlocking the magic of Disney, past and present. I'm Gini, your guide through the parks and the pages of Disney's rich history. Each week, we will share expert tips to help you plan your perfect visit and explore the stories, secrets, and legends that make the magic real. From Walt's vision to today's hidden gems, we will help you feel more connected, more prepared, and more enchanted every step of the way. So, whether you're counting down the days to your next trip or just dreaming of a stroll down Main Street, USA, this is your place to discover the wonder. This is Once Upon a Castle. Welcome back to Once Upon a Castle, the show where we take a stroll down the avenues, attractions, and stories that make Disneyland more than just a park. It's a living, breathing piece of American imagination. This episode is part 4 of the grand finale of our Main Street USA series. Over the past few weeks, we've wandered through the attractions that bring nostalgia to life, the entertainment that fills the air with music and laughter, and the food that delights guests from morning to night. And today, we are wrapping up our stroll down Main Street with something really special. I'm joined by the wonderful Steph Sanchez, host of Magic Key Adventures podcast. Steph is not only a lifelong Disney fan, but she's also an expert when it comes to planning magical, stress-free trips, and she's here to share her love for Main Street, along with some amazing tips to make our Disneyland visits just a little more magical. I am so happy to have Steph join me today. We have been connected on Instagram for a while, and so when I reached out to her to come on and be a guest, she was 100% on board and has been so gracious and so incredibly supportive with everything in the podcast. And I'm just very grateful for her friendship and her support and for her coming on being a guest. You guys are just going to absolutely love Steph. So after today's episode, I 100% encourage you to head over to Magic Key Adventures podcast and learn more about Steph and learn more about her magical journeys at Disneyland. You definitely will not want to miss out. But before we dive into our chat with Steph, I want to share a review from one of you listeners. This is from Mina Sparrow 7. This podcast is refreshing, informative, and just plain fun. It makes me want to go to Disneyland. Thank you so much, Mina Sparrow 7. That's exactly the feeling I hope for with this show. Like, get yourself to Disneyland. And I hope that the conversations that we have here on the show are just like two friends wandering through the park, sharing memories and discoveries along the way. And I hope you find yourself at the parks very soon. If so, reach out to me and tell me all about your trip and if you found some of those special things we talked about on Main Street. And listener, if you've been enjoying this series, I'd love your help spreading the magic. Please consider leaving a 5-star rating and review. It truly helps more Disney dreamers find their way to the castle. And of course, you can always reach me by email at magic@onceuponacastlepodcast.com. I love hearing your stories and ideas for future episodes, so keep on reaching out. All right, friends, let's get into it because I cannot wait for you to meet Steph and to listen in on our conversation. So in this episode, we are celebrating everything that makes Main Street USA the heart of Disneyland. The charm, the community, and the timeless sense of wonder that keeps us all coming back. So grab your coffee, find a favorite spot by the curb, and join me and my guest, Steph Sanchez, as we take one last walk down Main Street USA together. Well, welcome, Steph. I'm so excited to have you join me here on Once Upon a Castle.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I feel so honored and privileged that you even asked me. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you. Yeah, we're just a few episodes in and I have been following you for a while on Instagram and listening to your podcast, Magic Key
Aw.
Adventures. And I was like, okay, I like her energy. I like her love for Disney and who else to come on. And today, like, talk really more specifically about Main Street and the
Mhm.
magic and wonder of Main Street. So I was already like really excited to have you on because you're so fun and kind and energetic. And then I just listened, let's see here, I guess it was Friday. Today's Sunday. I just
Mhm.
listened Friday to your trip recap, part two from the 70th anniversary celebration day. And so to hear that and your perspective on that day and really experiencing like Walt's A Magical Life and just hearing you get emotional and just like connected, I was like, okay, this is the perfect episode for Steph to come on.
Thank you. I don't know how to take a compliment, so just thank you.
Okay, that's fine. But I don't either, so that's good. But I
Okay,
mean,
kindred spirits. All right, we got it.
exactly.
I'm
Um,
I'm the giver. I'm not the taker. I just
well, you can be the taker right now, but it's
I
okay. Yeah, so just like
Thank
hearing
you.
you talk about it, and I don't know if you feel the same way, but Main Street is really special for me. It's one of my favorite lands because that's where I personally feel like the most connected to Walt.
Mhm.
I feel like,
Agreed.
so many of the attractions, the restaurants and the shops were inspired by, his boyhood home, Marceline.
Mhm.
And he spent so much time there on Main Street, like in the Opera House, right?
Mhm.
Before it was the Opera House. It was like the
Yeah.
wood shop. Like he
Yeah.
was there. So um I feel like Main Street embodies Walt and his dreams. And it's just the big welcome into
Mhm.
Disneyland.
For sure. I mean, everybody thinks it starts like when you walk under the tunnel and you see the sign and everything. But no, it's once you walk under the tunnel and you enter Main Street and you kind of remember even what was there in 1955. Like
Yeah.
you see that Disney Anna wasn't Disney Anna, it was a bank. And we can still see that today when we walk in there. So I don't wanna step on anything you might have wanted to talk about, but
Yeah,
those
no,
are
please, please. This show is really, again, all about sharing like the magic and wonder. So, any historical tidbits you have or facts, share it, please.
Oh, for sure.
Because personally, that's how I really connect to the parks and
Mm.
just bring it. It's what brings the parks to life for me. So,
It
no,
really does.
go
Yeah, I
right
feel the
ahead.
same way. Yeah, so I was just gonna mention, when you walk into Disneyana, how you still see the vault there from Bank of America.
Mm-hmm.
And usually they'll have like something on display, like during the 100th, they had a display there. I honestly didn't notice if they had anything in there during the 70th. Have you noticed anything?
That's really sad. I was just there, so I should have noticed. But
No,
what
it's just
always
one of
gets
those
me in
things.
Disney Anna, honestly, is just all the sparkly stuff. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, the last time I was truly in there was for a book signing, so all of the chaos of the book signing, I didn't
Mhm.
even really pay attention to what was in there, but it's just really cool that you get to see the history still there from the beginning, and it's really cool. I love that about Main Street. And then have you ever taken any of the tours, like the either Walk on Walt's Footsteps or the Main Street tour?
You know what? I have not. It's on my bucket list.
Well, I definitely recommend. I never got to do that walk in Walt's footsteps. I've heard about it, and every
Mhm.
time I hear about it, I just wish I could go back in time and do it. But the one on Main Street, and I forget the name of it as well. That one was really nice. I did it on one of my birthday trips with my husband, and it was just that connection to Walt and getting to walk essentially in his footsteps down Main
Mhm.
Street, and they tell you about the windows and Disney history, like Walt's history and things like that. And then they take you into Walt's apartment, which is,
Mm.
the highlight of the whole
Mhm.
thing, right? So, and you get to spend some time in there. And I feel like that really reinforced my love for the man Walt Disney when you
Yeah.
do things like that, because it's like, yes, you appreciate everything that he brought to the parks, but when you do these tours, you're like, man, this was a man walking around just
Right.
minding his business.
Right. Like just minding his business and day
Uh-huh.
in and day out, just trying to make this happen.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah. I can tell you have a real love for Walt the man, as do
Mhm.
I. So, what are some of the things that you admire the most? Like, what is it about Walt that attracts you to him?
It's really funny. I just finished um my last stint in school. So I was going back for
Yeah,
my
girl.
degree. Thank you. And a, lo- a lot of my papers were written and inspired by Walt Disney because my
Mm,
degree is in business management. So I really got to see Walt as a businessman
yeah.
and the accomplishments and achievements. And I got to write about that. And that was really exciting to me. But then when I step out of that and you go to the A Magical Life
Mm-hmm.
on in the Opera House now, you get Walt the man, the father, the husband, and it's a completely different man. Same man, but
Mm-hmm.
we all have our facets, right?
Right.
And how do you not fall in love with all of that and have this wonder and, you know, I don't know, I respect really
Mhm.
for this person who was just like, no, yeah, we need an amusement park here. I need this.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Someone had attributed it to like Disneyland was the love letter to his daughters.
Hmm.
And
I
I
love that.
just, yeah, I loved that. I thought that was really beautiful.
Yeah.
So, Steph, what's your Disney story?
Oh, my Disney story. So I was born in early 80s. So it's a very interesting time, my life in Disney history. I remember going to see The Little Mermaid when it came out
Mm,
in 89. I was about 5, 6 years old. And I remember seeing that in the theater and going to the pool and wanting to pretend to be a mermaid and swim around and, and do all those things. That coupled with the, and me being an early 80s girl, we used to have these things called beta tapes. So
uh-huh.
before VHS, there was beta, and I had one of Winnie the Pooh. But I also had one of this like Rogers and Hammerstein's Cinderella.
Mm,
So already princesses as a girl growing up with princesses. And then Winnie the Pooh, just the original story,
mm-hmm.
even though it's from, before I was born, it was such a lovely story. I loved watching Winnie the Pooh. So now come to when I'm growing up in the 90s, we get Aladdin and
Mm,
Beauty and the Beast and The Lion King. And those were the music for me. Not only just the movie and their stories, but the music. I
mm-hmm.
really loved the soundtracks, and I would play the soundtracks in my brother's room because he's 7 years older than me and he had all the cool stuff, right?
He had the
So
nice stereo. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. Yes, exactly. So I would blast it while he was still at school and I would dance around and,
Mm,
do all those things. That's what I remember as a child. So I've always been a Disney girl. And then, come to adulthood. So what I was told when I was little was that we went to Disneyland quite often. I don't have a ton of memories. I do remember going to the park like maybe when I was 11, 12, maybe even before that. I don't
mm.
really remember how old I was, but my parents swear that we told them we didn't want to go to Disneyland anymore. And I find that very hard
Blasphemy.
to believe if you know me now. But so fast forward to, other things that happened in my life. So there was a point in time where my brother was kind of treated as a cast member.
Mm,
He worked in in-flight entertainment. So when we would go to Disneyland, we would get in for free. Like a
mm,
cast member would, sign you in.
mhm.
He would sign us in. And so those were beautiful memories that we created. And then once I started having kids and creating memories with them, to now as a magic key holder and being able to go whenever I want. So that's my story. That's basically, how it all started and where I am now, and then obviously the podcast. So
Love
Yeah.
it. That's fun. Yeah, thank you. We're kind of grew up in that same like time frame, and
Mhm.
so I can connect to a lot of what you're saying, connecting with the movies and those characters. And yeah, I love that you Winnie the Pooh has my heart too. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your favorite land at
My
Disneyland?
favorite land. You know, every time somebody asks this question, whether it's in a group or whatever, automatically you want to go nostalgia, right? You just want to
Mm,
pick the land that's been there the longest and be like,
mhm,
yeah, that's the land. But I have to say that Cars Land in DCA has to be my favorite. It's
mm.
just you walk in and you're in Radiator Springs, and I
Yeah.
have three boys. Each one has loved a Cars movie in one point or another because they're very far apart in age.
Okay.
And so, yeah, it just has my heart. And the Imagineers did such a great job with that land and how immersive you are. And it kind of ties in with Galaxy's Edge because I feel the same way when I walk to Galaxy's Edge and go into
Mhm.
Batu. I'm in a different place. And those are the two that if I had to pick.
Yeah, those are good ones. Um, I personally am not like a big Star Wars fan. My husband is though, to the point we got married on May 4th.
Oh,
Uh for like that reason. So
uh-huh.
we got engaged at Disneyland, and I say like I got my,
Hmm.
castle Disneyland proposal. He got the wedding date of May 4th. So,
That's
to
awesome.
be able to see Batu through his eyes has been really fun. So great choices, solid choices. And yeah, even being, you brought up like the immersiveness and it just transports you. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, but I love to be there. And
Hmm.
I can appreciate all of the work that went in and all of the fine details. Like that's one thing that is just so special about Disney. They don't just slap on a coat of paint, right? There is
Hmm.
so much
Right.
intentionality about why that paint is there, how they
Hmm.
painted, the colors that they chose, and it's all part of that storytelling aspect of it. So
Yeah.
every single thing that's there is done with intentionality.
Yep. I
Yeah,
agree.
great. So what's your favorite ride?
So my favorite ride, absolutely hands down, every single time, is going to be Space Mountain. I absolutely love
Okay,
Space
okay.
Mountain.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
It's just got it all, right? It's just this thrill. It's in the dark. They added the music and now you're just transported. I am one of those crazy people who clap at the end. You will see me clapping
Yep.
at the end.
Yep. Do that on all the other rides too. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
absolutely, hands
awesome.
down.
That's awesome. My son loves that ride.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I think I know the answer to this, just being a listener to your podcast, but I'll put it out there. What's
Hmm.
your favorite snack or like meal or treat?
Yes, you do know the answer.
And
I
I
will.
100% agree.
Thank you. That's good. I'm so glad. Kindred spirits, like I said.
Yep.
So if you are going to take me to Disneyland, you will, I mean, I have to wait because they don't open when the park does, but I will 100% never say no to a black calf cold brew from Docking
Amen.
Bay 7.
Yeah, yeah. Amen. You kindred spirits. When I was there a couple weekends ago, I literally bought two at the
Oh,
same time and had them
that's my
double
dream.
fisting because I was like,
Uh-huh.
well, I'm going to sit and eat and drink
Uh-huh.
one now.
Yeah.
And I was telling my friend this, and she's like, you got two? I'm like, yeah, I drink it now. And then we got to walk
Hmm.
we were going back to our hotel. I was like, and I need one for the walk. Like, of
Smart.
course.
Smart. I keep saying I'm going to do that. I haven't done it yet, but
Yeah. And I even thought, I was like, ooh, next time I go, maybe I should just get like one of those big reusable cups. And then I can buy like
oh,
two and just like dump them in the cup. And then we're like really good to go.
okay. Now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. That's awesome. What about like a nostalgic treat or something that takes you back to when you were a kid or when you were a little bit younger?
Um, I really love Disneyland popcorn. There is crack inside, I think. We say
True,
that
true,
about Starbucks too, right? They
true.
must
Yeah.
they must
Yeah.
put something in this for us to like it so much.
Uh-huh.
No, there I really do love Disneyland popcorn. I haven't had it in a while because I recently had surgery,
Mm,
so I haven't tried eating buttered popcorn.
okay.
So But if I had to choose a nostalgic snack, it would be the popcorn. I love it. I love the smell, everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. It's dangerous. I think I
Mhm.
even, like, caught myself I got some and was just, like, literally shoveling it in, and I was like, "Okay,
Mhm.
you need to slow it down a bit." That's
Yeah.
great. So when you are hanging out on Main Street, what are some of your favorite things to do there?
Main Street, I mean, what don't I love about Main Street? I love sitting at Refreshment Corner on a
Mm.
morning and just sitting there. I've done that a couple of times where, I'll get something for breakfast and I'll sit there and people watch. It's just a beautiful corner to sit on. And then obviously love to shop in the jewelry store because Chris Liu just keeps coming out with crazy stuff that I want and can't afford, but we'll go
You
look at
can
it
dream,
anyway.
right? Yeah, yeah, yeah. 100%.
Um, me and my friends have made it a point to try and go on every single Main Street vehicle. So we've hit the fire truck and the omnibus, but we haven't been on like one of the cars yet. So
Mhm.
that's gonna be on there, and then I've done the horse-drawn,
Yep.
trolley as well.
Yeah, those are fun.
And so those are always, like, fun goals to have, right? Because it's
Mhm.
just one of those things that we take for granted, just as people who go to Disneyland.
Yeah.
So, um and then when I leave Disneyland, I do have to say goodnight to Walt at the apartment. And then now my new favorite, obviously, is the Walt animatronic in the Opera
Mhm.
House because it's just like it's everything. I
Yeah.
I just love it, and I will go and see it as many times as I can. I think at
Yep.
this point,
So
yep.
that's now a trip must do every time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I even
Yeah.
did it on my spontaneous trip. I made a spontaneous trip in July and made it a point to go and see it again. It
Yeah.
was just I don't know. I'm so drawn to it. I love
Yeah.
it.
It's good. It's good. I know. It's, tear inducing and just a very surreal experience. Yeah, I agree. I like to say good morning to Walt when I come in. I veer towards that side of the
Mm-hmm.
parks and good morning, Uncle Walt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, what about entertainment? What types of entertainment do you like to experience while you're on Main Street?
On Main Street, like, me and the kids do like to go in the cinema. I especially
Mm,
love it now with the tribute to the Sherman Brothers. I've gone in there several times just
yes.
to watch it. Um, so the kids, especially my youngest son, he's 6, he does love the cinema and all the little cartoons because he does watch versions of those cartoons on Disney Plus,
Hmm.
but the newer ones, kind of like the animation that is in Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway. So
Yeah.
they have those little shorts and he loves those. So he loves to go in there. And I wouldn't say I don't like parades. It's just hard to get me to sit there without food in my hand. Or
Fair.
having fed me and then I get a nice little backstage pass or whatever,
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I do love the entertainment, but and then just like the character interactions. Like if I can
Mm,
get a character as they're walking out, I will always go stand in line. That's
yeah.
the best time to get to them.
Yeah, that is. That there are some good interactions there on Main
Mhm.
Street. It's nice when you
Sure.
walk in for the day and you can just see Mickey over here and Minnie and
Mhm.
Donald's walking by and Goofy might be in like the little hub area and you're like, "Oh, it's all just so
I
wonderful."
know. All my friends are here.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So if you could give some tips to our listeners, they might be newcomers, first timers to the parks, or long-term veterans, what would be some tips you would share?
I think for me, something that I recently learned, and you probably heard me talk about, is just the ability to slow down and
Mm,
pivot when you need to. And you're not going to get it all done in one day. I get really excited and childlike when I walk into Disneyland and I want to do it all. But I've really enjoyed my last couple of trips where we slowed down and we made it a point to hit certain things, but we weren't there to do it all.
mhm.
And we sat there and we had cocktails or we had coffee or whatever it was and
Yeah.
just took it all in. So if you can do that and have that in your mind that I'm going to have these 3 goals or these 4 goals, and then I'm just going to let the Disney ones take me, I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the best thing
Mm.
to do for yourself and probably the people around you.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's such good advice. Yeah, that's one of my favorite tips. Such good wisdom that you're sharing.
Thank you. I had
Um,
to learn it myself.
Hey, well, yeah, you know what? Sometimes we just have to do that. Yeah, I was there in July on the 70th. It was actually my best friend's 40th birthday.
Oh,
Her and Disneyland share a birthday.
oh,
And
sweet.
the fun thing about, her family is just so fun, but they are very rides focused and
Mhm,
it's like go, 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 go.
mhm,
I'm like, girl, you gave me a run for my money because I
mhm.
am a Disneyland mosier. I like to
Oh,
mosey about and with no sense of urgency
mhm.
whatsoever. So it was good. We got so many rides done. It was fantastic. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I can see that could be overwhelming for someone who's not used to running around like that. Because
Hmm.
I could have it both ways. I could run around the park like, a child and we're gonna go do this. We're gonna go do this.
Yeah.
But but really I've really lately loved the slow down and all
Mhm.
of my friends have been really getting me to like slow down and
Yeah. I love
really
that.
enjoy.
Well,
Mhm.
there's just so much more to do than just the rides, right? And when
Exactly.
you allow yourself to do that, you're soaking in, the entertainment, the atmosphere, the food. Just like you said, sitting at a refreshment corner and having a cup of coffee and a lovely conversation with the people that you're there with. Or, when I was there a couple weekends ago, just had the best conversation with a cast member while I was just hanging out waiting for my friend and
Yeah.
it's those moments that I feel like
Mhm.
make Disney so special, not just the amazing rides.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Yeah,
sure.
well, thanks for sharing that great tip with us, Steph.
Yeah.
As we start to think about coming to an end here, because I just want to respect your time, what exactly is it, if you could lift it out, brings the magic of Disneyland to you?
To me. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
what a question. I think honestly, I do bring it with me every single time. I was having this conversation with my husband yesterday where it is Disneyland and the resort itself has really been part of like a positive part of my mental health.
Mm.
And when I can go there and just unload and relax and not worry about the day to day and everything that's going on in my life, and I just absorb that magic, I bring it home with me so that I have it with me until I go back. And so I feel like I do that as much as I can. I mean, sometimes we don't get there as often as we want and we
You're
get
like,
really
every
sad.
day I need this.
Yes. And then the Disney blues set in, right?
Yep.
I was also talking to my friend about how if we don't get Disney tired and we come back, we feel like we didn't spend enough time there. So if we didn't come back tired, we need to go back sooner than we probably anticipated.
Right. I like that. If you're not peeling me off of the concrete at the end
Uh-huh.
of the night,
Hmm.
you need to stay a few more days. I like it.
Or I need to go back the next week or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah,
it is.
yeah. That's
I
great.
really do try to bring home the magic with me and just that feeling of when you walk in those gates for the first time when you come back
Hmm.
uh, to a trip. I really just want to have those memories with me. And that's why even taking photos is important because then I have those with me. And that's why I feel like my podcast is so important because now I'm telling everybody about my trip because nobody here wants to hear about it. So I tell everybody else who wants to hear
Yeah,
about
I want to hear about
it.
Yeah,
Even
that's
my coworkers, they're just like, stop, Steph. It's
yeah.
fine. We
Yeah, they're
know
like,
you win again.
again, again. That's what I get. Again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You went to a
Yeah.
baseball game again? You went to a concert again?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a great segue. So, can you tell us for the listeners a little bit more about where we can find you and tell us a little bit more about your podcast?
Absolutely. Thank you. So I have an Instagram. It started on Instagram a few years ago. I am magic underscore key underscore adventures. I created that right after I became a magic key holder, maybe like 6 months after. And I just wanted to share everything that we were doing. And I started to see this community because I was already part of kind of like a Disney community with other podcasts and having like Discord chats and stuff like that. So I've met a lot of my friends through that. And so I kind of like created one on my own and wanting to be a part of this community. So that's what I did. And then after a while, I decided, okay, I need an outlet. I need to not only share photos, but I need to talk about it. I need to tell you how my trip went. And that's how Magic Key Adventures, the podcast, was born. I essentially just tell you about my latest trip and what I did and how I did it. And sometimes they're beautiful trips, and sometimes they're very stressful. And sometimes, somewhere in between. You just never know when you go, especially it's when you're with your family or with your
Hmm.
kids or your friends. It's always a different trip, no matter where it, no matter who you're with.
Yeah.
So that's how the podcast came to be, and that's basically what I talk about is my latest trips. But I also do have a little bit of fun, and I'll do different episodes on different topics. I've done one on the Sherman Brothers about the documentary. I just did one with my friends about these 10 questions you should ask every Disney adult.
That was so fun. I was dying listening to
You were
that.
dying too. I mean, my friends are a lot of fun, so it's great when you can get together with your Disney people and talk about Disney. So but mostly the podcast is about my trips to Disneyland.
Well, it is a wonderful podcast. I know I enjoy listening to it, and I don't get to go as often as you, so I'm like living vicariously through you each month.
Thank you. I probably won't be there as often with my downgraded key, but I still hope to bring in as many trips and, remembering past
Mhm.
trips and talking about that as well, because I just love talking about Disneyland.
Yeah, yeah, it's same, same, same. Well, I'm excited to hear you're going to Disneyland Paris
I
in
am.
just like a week, right?
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to hear more about that.
Yeah. I'm excited to experience it and to be able to tell listeners all about it because I think it's just one of those bucket list items, especially if you are like a theme park fan and maybe you toggle between Disneyland and Disney World.
Mhm.
To be able to go to Paris is amazing, and I still have to pinch myself. I can't believe that I'm
Yeah,
not only going to the country but going to Disneyland Paris. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
That's so cool. I'm so excited for you. That
Thank
is
you.
amazing. Well, Steph, I so appreciate you giving me your time and just being able to like meet you more through Instagram and through the podcast and following that. So this has been a real treat for me to have you on and just gushing about Disney. And I think, your heart really came out. And when people listen to this and they know that they're going to remember this conversation and be like, oh, I get it. I
Mhm.
see that. I get that. I experienced that. I get why she was so in love with that. And it just brings the parks more to life.
It really does. Thank you
Yeah.
for having me.
Yeah.
This was so much fun, and I'm so
It-
excited for you with your
Thank
new
you.
podcast. And
Thank you.
you're just gonna keep growing. People are gonna gravitate to you. I already know.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate the invitation. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Oh, wow. What a perfect way to wrap up our journey down Main Street, USA. I can't believe we've reached the end of this 4-part series from the attractions and entertainment to the food and, of course, the heart and soul of the people who make Main Street feel like home. A huge thank you to Steph Sanchez from Magic Key Adventure Podcast for joining me today and sharing her love for Main Street USA, along with those wonderful tips for planning a magical trip. Talking with Steph really reminded me that Main Street isn't just the beginning of a Disneyland visit. It's the part that we carry with us long after we leave the park. And thank you for coming along on this stroll through Disney history, past and present. It's been such a joy exploring every corner of Main Street with you. If you want to keep wandering with me, come join our community over on Patreon. It's completely free to join, and it's where I share behind the scenes notes, photos, and bonus thoughts from each episode. Think of it as our little own corner of Main Street. If you've enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to follow, rate, or leave a review. It truly helps more Disney dreamers find their way to the castle. You can also connect with me, as always, on Instagram at Once Upon a Castle Podcast. There's underscores in between all of those words and after podcast. On TikTok at Virginia K. West, or on Patreon, of course, at Once Upon a Castle for extra tips, behind-the-scenes stories, and all things Disney. Now, since we've spent so much time on Main Street, I have to ask, what's the one thing you never skip when you're there? Is it the corn dog cart? Or a stop at the Emporium? Or is it maybe just standing at the end of the street and taking it all in? Let me know on Instagram, TikTok, or over on Patreon. Until next time, keep the magic alive and the memories close. And as always, I am wishing you a great, big, beautiful tomorrow. Bye-bye.